A Range Rover Sport ought to deliver exactly what its name suggests, a luxurious Range Rover travelling experience with a dramatic extra dose of sporting capability. This second generation model delivers in both regards, frightening German luxury SUV rivals by matching them on tarmac while still obliterating them off-road. Continual enhancements to the lineup have brought fresh engine options and more sophisticated media connectivity as part of a series of improvements that have created the revised model we're going to look at here.
The vast weight savings made in creation of this second generation model make a considerable difference to the way this car feels on the road. Designer Jerry McGovern wanted to create what he called the Porsche 911 of SUVs, and sure enough, the feel you get at the wheel of this car in what's called the command driving position anticipates a very different and far more involving driving experience than you'd normally expect from a large luxury SUV. Further helping here are the range of so-called dynamic driving aids that you get as standard. That's providing you avoid entry-level trim. These include dynamic response active lean control and torque vectoring to help you get the power down through the bends. Plus there's adaptive dynamics, variable damping too. Plus, there's a dynamic program that, when selected, instantly switches everything into red mist mode. Now, you'll really want this if you choose one of the more powerful engines, perhaps the 339 bhp SD-V8 diesel or one of the supercharged petrol units, 340 bhp 3-litre V6 and a 5-litre V8, developing either 510 bhp or in the top SVR model as much as 550 bhp. At the other extreme, at the foot of the range, an entry-level 240 bhp 2-litre SD4 4-cylinder diesel unit's been introduced, but most customers will continue to prefer the 306 bhp SD-V6 diesel unit that we've been trying here. This engine mixes ready performance with decent frugality. 40.4 mpg is possible on the combined cycle and 185 grams per kilometre of CO2. Like the other more powerful units, it also comes as standard mated to electronic air suspension, which not only improves the ride but also gives this car superb off-road ability. Avoid entry-level trim, and that'll be further enhanced by a twin-speed low-range gearbox, all-terrain progress control and a terrain response 2 system that can automatically set the car up for the type of ground that you're going to be driving over. All models get a clever low-traction launch system that's there to assist you when you're pulling away from a standstill on low grip surfaces, and this car can lug along up to 3.5 tons. Imagine you were toned, fit and nearly 20% lighter. How would you look? Sharper? Smarter? Younger? This car certainly does in comparison to its boxy, heavy, first-generation pre-2013 predecessor. The faster windscreen angle, the streamlined profile and the sloping roofline make it properly sleek and contemporary, as it should be, a Range Rover Sport for the modern era, but recognisably a Range Rover Sport. The clamshell bonnet, the floating roof, the powerful wheel arches and the side fender vents that have always defined this model are all present and correct. So, let's take a seat inside. The famous command driving position seats you a tad lower than you would be in a Range Rover, plus the more compact, thicker rimmed wheel is smaller, the upright gear stick is more purposeful, and the centre console's higher. Perhaps that last point is the most significant one because it positions the controls closer to you, creating a cocooning feel for the front seat occupants. Racy then, but still regal too. There's plenty of high tech too, some of it more effectively presented than others. It's hard to dislike this 12.3-inch TFT instrument screen that offers lifelike digital facsimiles of the usual rev and speedo gauges. Less clear and intuitive are the buttons on the steering wheel, which control a range of electronic options in the instrument display. You'll need to spend some time with your nose buried in the instruction manual to figure out both these and the main infotainment system, a 10-inch In-Control Pro Centre Dash touchscreen. Settle yourself into the rear, and if you're familiar with the fully fledged Range Rover, you'll find that a place in the back of this car is nearly as nice. The high-mounted seats are firm and supportive. As an option, it is possible to order this car with what Land Rover calls 5+2 seating. In other words, an extra third row bench. Finally, let's have a look in the boot. Now, the powered tailgate, which can be gesture controlled, rises to reveal a huge 784-litre boot, which can be extended to 1,761 litres if you flatten the rear seats. With the fully fledged Range Rover being these days very much a plutocratic purchase, it's this sport model that for us now most faithfully continues a model line stretching all the way back to the 1970 original. That very first Range Rover was a car you didn't have to be afraid to use as intended, on or off-road. Nor is this one, usefully improved in this revised second generation form. True, it's a pity that the entry trim level does without some of the key on and off-road features, and also that it's necessary for potential customers to pay significantly more than they would for some less sophisticated rivals, especially if they want to buy in at the SDV6 level that probably shows this model at its best. Still, the right version of this car offers exactly the right kind of luxury SUV experience for those who are fortunate enough to be able to enjoy it. And it delivers a Range Rover Sport that is in almost every respect a proper Range Rover. I mean, be honest, you'd like one, wouldn't you?